again, John. My goodness gracious. Am I going to have to get the bell? I'm going to slap you on the head with it. Once again, you can't fix stupid, but ignorance is a lifestyle choice.
Choose
and I'll
ignorance.
tell you what, yeah, choose ignorance. Now,
So much easier.
gentlemen, you had, what's your little phrase, please?
Saw something the other day. I can't even remember where I saw it, but I loved it. I wrote it down so I can remember it forever. The man has the decision-making skills of a squirrel crossing the road. I'm going to put that on the back of my truck.
Well, you don't own a truck. Well, you sort of own a truck. You got to put.
It's a Buick truck. It's actually considered a truck.
Well, it's an SUV, sort of UV. You know what? I got to have you talk to my friend Bruce, the gender-confused bear. Maybe he'll straighten you out.
Yeah, that'd be nice, you know. That'd be nice. Does he bite or can I pet him?
Actually, all I've ever seen him do is never bite, just fondle.
Oh, well.
Which is the part about the gender confused part, yeah.
If he, since I'm a descendant of a hippie in the 60s, that would probably be okay if he gave me some of that Big Brown Bear beer, you know, a 12-pack before, because I wouldn't remember a thing then, see.
How are you?
Brewed with better barley.
Yeah. How are you a descendant of somebody from the 60s?
Exactly. The math doesn't work out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You are.
I'll admit I am from the 60s.
You
and
are from the
70s.
60s.
Yes.
Oh, is that how that works?
You're not a descendant.
I think he was dropped on his head again.
Well,
Still?
Each day, you know, every day they say live each day as a moment. So the next day, you know, I'm a descendant from that
Other
person I
moment.
lived yesterday. You know,
Ah, I see.
I'm a descendant.
Okay.
You know, because
He's got to start sharing this stuff before we start the show.
Well, you know what? It sounds way too much. Is it Hindu or Buddhist to me?
I think it might be Buddhist, you know, or Zen or something.
Oh, I know Zen. I know his brother Ben too.
Yeah, you know.
He worked on motorcycles, didn't he?
Yeah, Zen in the art of motorcycle
Right.
repair. Yeah, he was good. He was good at that.
I remember. Moving along.
I'll apologize right now. I have no idea what's going on. So, I've got to mention, I don't care what your political leanings are, but I saw a bumper sticker that just tickled me the other day. It said, "When you elect a clown, expect a circus." And I think that can apply to a whole lot of people that have inhabited the White House, not just the present clown.
Not even just the White House. Look at, I mean,
Right.
any political, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
but you know, I keep waiting for the elephants, you know, and the monkeys and the tigers to go by. You know, I want a real circus, you know, with cotton candy and popcorn and peanuts. You know.
See,
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
yeah, that's why I want to be the court jester through the whole thing. I want to be the one who tries to make people laugh, because if there was a coup or somebody was being overthrown or knifed in their bed or the red wedding on whatever that, even your stupid phone, the red wedding, anyway, all boils down to the same thing. They keep the fool.
Well, yeah, and if you're, you know, like when Jeffrey Epstein got suicided in his cell, they don't hang the clowns, bud.
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
Actually, was that suicide or was that be considered post-birth abortion?
Post-birth abortion, yeah. That's the next thing we're going to legalize in Washington. Post-birth abortion.
Well, let's go on to happier things now.
Moving on.
You got a little something there, Stu? Start
Hunting
with you.
unicorns is now legal in Michigan.
Say that again?
Hunting unicorns is now legal in Michigan. Lake Superior State University in Michigan offers a unicorn hunting license. And if anybody wants the, you know,
Wait a minute. Is that just rifle and shotgun, or can you go with a bow and arrow too?
oh my goodness, it doesn't say. It just says unicorn. My good, it doesn't say if it's just. Maybe it's just. What is it? The old style. What do they call it?
Black powder.
Highlandman?
Black powder. Yeah,
Oh.
probably black powder. Yep.
Well,
Unsurprisingly, the chief herald of unicorn hunters was once quoted saying, "The pursuit of the unicorn is a lonely quest. We wish them nothing but good luck."
Well, now wait a minute. Does this mean that once they start becoming an endangered species, we're going to start running out of Skittles?
Probably, yep.
No, really. With
And they
these-
all taste the same. People don't realize. Just
Unicorns?
Like M&Ms. No, Skittles.
Oh,
Really, what we need to do with this unicorn stuff is we need to get a hand on some crazy biotech scientists. You know, they use that CRISPR gene, and they'll take a gene out of a goat, and they'll put it in a white horse, and it'll grow a horn on top of his head. And then you know, somebody kills the unicorn and brings it in and says, and everybody would get all upset. And he says, but man, I bought the license.
I did it legally. It was all done legally.
I was going to ask you, Stuart, to call 911 and the EMT, but I'm afraid that both of you guys are going off the... Well, the nice thing about having a unicorn...
The rails today.
Nice thing
We're
about,
a little off the rails today.
the nice thing about the unicorns...
What train?
Never mind. I'll just sit here and listen.
Another good one I like, too. I love this. The British Secret Service once hacked into Al-Qaeda's website and replaced the bomb instructions with a cupcake recipe.
Oh, my.
I bet that cupcake was the bomb.
It's like chocolate surprise.
Wait a minute. Was it like one of those volcano ones that
I
come
don't know.
spewing
I
out?
don't know. They just said cupcake, so I think the volcano thing wouldn't be a cupcake. It'd be like the chocolate volcano.
Well, see, I'm just thinking about the fact that the CIA couldn't figure out a way to give Castro an exploding cigar, but now they can figure out how to go online and hack into somebody. I mean, our CIA is getting better and better.
Well, it's all these kids sitting in their basement that they recruit. You know, once they hack into some system, they go and recruit the kid who's been sitting in his basement. Give you a choice. You can come out of your basement, come sit in our basement and hack these people.
Yeah. Or, as they were telling us when we took our computer school decades ago, that, you know, you tell us how you did this because we can't figure it out, and we won't put you in jail for the rest of your life. How's that sound?
Yeah. That, you know, but I never had a talent where they offered me a job.
You know? We're aware of that, John.
They did offer me to go sit in the hospital for a while, though.
John, you know what? No matter what anybody ever says, nobody is totally useless. They can always serve as a bad example.
Here.
I second that.
You're the best example of a bad example, Dad. I've heard that from my children more than once. But you've learned, haven't you? Yeah.
As I often say, childhood is not something to cry about. It's something to grow out of.
Yep. Yeah. And sometimes the weak don't grow out of it, and, you know, that's the end of them.
Life goes on. Anybody hear about the guy who was going to go up, the flat earther who was going to shoot himself up in a rocket? Any more news on that? Have you guys heard anything on that?
Well, I wasn't even aware of it.
I heard he had a GoFundMe page, and he's collecting money, and then for some reason he said he couldn't go up. I'll bet he figured out a way to get the money.
Yep.
You know, it's a shame you talk about that, but just the other day I was watching some TV show, Mysteries at the Museum, I think, and they were talking about this priest in Toronto that faked a crying icon picture, okay? And he faked it, and it became very, you know, known worldwide. People came to see this thing, you know, people that wanted to believe. They wanted to see a miracle. I mean, come on, we could all use a little help in our lives. Anyway, when they figured out that this guy had set all this up and it was all fake, he was gone, and so was the $500,000 cash from donations.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
I don't know, you know. Yeah, I guess $500,000 would do it.
All depends where you're going, you know. Doesn't get you on Epstein's Island, but you know what the heck.
Well, I wouldn't want to be on that island.
On the other hand, if he sticks to his vow of celibacy, it goes a lot farther.
There you go.
No, I wouldn't want to be on the island, you know. I might go to the Mackinac fudge shop.
$500,000 wouldn't last you very long there. That stuff's getting expensive.
Well, it would probably last longer than my pancreas could, you know. I'd eat it so much, and then boom, you know, that my pancreas would die, the sugar. But I'd be happy.
There you go. And nothing better than that than dying happy.
You know? Yeah, because...
Personally, I just don't see how you could die and be happy both. I don't care what you believe or anything else.
Well, you know, my children keep telling me that when I hit 75, they're going to buy me the fastest motorcycle out there and a bad helmet. So,
your children have never treated you that well.
Yeah, my kids will probably just lock me in a basement somewhere and keep the direct deposit coming, you know?
They don't do that now?
No, they decided to let me out. I get let out on Tuesdays, and starting this fall, I get to teach HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, at a public school to 11th and 12th graders. And we'll see how that goes, see if the students don't start throwing screwdrivers and pipe wrenches at me.
Don't give them sharp objects for the first 2 weeks.
I think they're much more sophisticated than that. I mean, you get in the military and you get the right training, they show you anything can be a weapon. So, you might be... Well, I know one thing for sure. Get this whole new meeting to be the best bad example you ever seen. John, by any chance, did you have a...
Come on, John,
Darwin
come up with
Award?
something quick.
I couldn't even think of the name. No?
Because you're afraid that with a Darwin Award, you would be expected to fulfill it, comrade. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Russell had a grudge against a semi-truck abandoned on a rural property, and Russell was not the silent, brooding type. He was a man of action. He built a gunpowder and propane tank bomb attached a timer,
I can see where this is going already.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Keep going.
planted it in the moldering truck, and retreated to a distant vantage point to wait for the fireworks. And waited until he could wait no more. No boom. This was not right. What? Why had nothing happened? He approached the stubborn truck just in time for an up-close and personal look at a cloud of rapidly expanding incandescent gas. They found the bomb-making materials at his mobile home and believed he was also responsible for 2 explosions the night before his death. One at the mobile home park and another at a hobby shop. Although Russell will be missed, we are all a bit safer now.
I mean, it just amazes me that people, like, that's a beautiful example of, hey, think about what's going to happen next. You think up to a certain spot. It's like somebody walks up to a wall, then they stop. Well, the door's right there. Open the door.
ABCW.
Yeah. I think, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't follow that, but go ahead.
Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Step 7.
47, yeah.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is, he set the bomb and 2 bombs blew off the night before. You just say, well, geez, this one's not working. I guess I'm just going to stay away,
It's funny? You learn things in one field, and they always seem to apply in another field.
Yeah.
When we do our improv acting, they always tell you, if you're going to fail big. And to me, that sounds like a perfect example of if you're going to go big. Set off 2 the night before, and let the third one get you, and then you don't have to spend time in jail.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess he did fail big. And he shared a lot of himself in the general area.
Oh God, that's just not right, John. That's
the
just
circle
not right.
of life.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
Rated cats, dogs, and people.
Oh, jeez.
That's bad. This was, you guys probably saw in the news. This is what amazed me. In Troy, on August 1st, these 2 kids broke into a training school. I forget the name, International Academy.
Yeah.
Oh,
They had cameras all over the place. Instead of doing it, for profit, these clowns did it for fun. Because what else would you call them but clowns if they just went in there for fun?
Politicians. No.
Good point.
Bad.
Sorry, I was right. You were right. Anyhow, the whole thing is, they were shown all over, local television. So they got like their 15 minutes of fame, and now they're going to pay for it with about 20 years of being in prison. Not a trade I'd want to make.
No. I agree. My 15 minutes of fame is here, but I do have to live an ignorant lifestyle in order to compensate for it.
Hey, you led an ignorant lifestyle before I met you, so don't lie about it. This is another one. This was actually taught me something. I did not know that in order to have a stun gun, you have to have a concealed weapons permit.
Really?
Yeah. Police stopped a 25-year-old Rochester Hills woman who was reportedly driving erratically on a local road. Police said she smelled of alcohol, and admitted to drinking 2 drinks of alcohol at a friend's home in Detroit. Now, we talked about this before. You cannot drink 2 drinks in this area. The drinks here are much too large, and anywhere else, all you'll do is get a nice feeling and relax a little bit. Around here, if you drink 2 drinks, because they're so large, you're going to end up drunk and in trouble. So please, don't drink in the Troy area. Either that or just order a half glass.
Or use Uber or Lyft.
Oh, yeah, sure, and then get shot or whatever. According to police report, police saw a stun gun in the center console and noticed that the driver did not have a concealed weapons permit. Now, see, had she concealed the weapon, she wouldn't need a concealed weapon permit. Think about it.
Yeah.
She reportedly failed a sobriety test, and was arrested and charged with drunk driving and carrying a concealed weapon. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go get us a CPL or a CCW or whatever they're calling it nowadays, because who knows? Next thing you know, I'll have nail clippers in my pocket, and all of a sudden I'm a stabber people.
Oh, yeah. Those nail clippers will get you every time, man.
Well, you can take the plane apart with them.
Yeah, well, they've watched MacGyver
Yes,
finally,
that's exactly
and
what it
they
is,
realize
yes.
that that's a deadly weapon.
Right.
Even
It's all
the new
MacGyver's
MacGyver,
fault.
they kind of sucked. He could probably do it.
I was laughing about that, but
Well,
we were watching some old reruns of MacGyver the other day, and
Yeah.
it was like, well, you can't take that on a plane anymore. Can't take that on a plane anymore. Can't take that on a plane anymore. It's all MacGyver's fault.
And
You know what? I bet he's even on a watch list where he can't get on a plane either.
Probably.
John Wick, we're just waiting for the authorities to watch that. They're not going to let you take pencils and pens on planes anymore either.
That's right.
But you know what they'll always let you take? Your credit card.
Oh, you betcha.
No
Or
ma-
your clothes. All right. They're doing all these baggage fees now. People are getting a little upset about them.
They want you to go on naked?
Well, no, the extra baggage, you get whatever, and they're charging $50, $60 a bag for overweight.
Hey, I've been married before. I got a little baggage too.
Yeah. Anyway, some passengers have gone to extreme lengths to make sure they don't have these kids. In 2012, a man wore 60 shirts and 9 pair of jeans.
Yeah, I saw
on
that.
an
I was
11 and a
impressed.
11 and a half hour flight. He must have weighed like 30 pounds when he started.
Well, I know
Anyway,
I couldn't get that many of my clothes on.
Yep. Because he didn't want to pay the extra baggage fees. Anyway, it's just 70 pieces of clothing. All right, I want to figure out how if you got 1 pair of jeans, the next pair of jeans has to be a little bigger to go on.
Yeah.
The other one a little bigger to go on.
Yeah.
So I think by the 11th pair, they're not going to fit them anyway.
You better take a belt with you because you're going to need it.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Suspenders.
Yeah, suspenders.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's one of those people that their weight fluctuated, so he had his fat clothes and his skinny clothes, and maybe he worked it out like that. Think? You think? No? Okay.
Well,
No, I'm not buying that.
Never
one.
mind.
No. Never mind.
Well, here's one I just love. Anybody who's ever had workers in the house next to you or in your house, and their music is just blaring and as annoying as anything? 2 employees from a grounds maintenance company riding in a truck together on their way to a job reportedly argued about the volume of the music on the radio at 7:30 in the morning. Now, I don't know why they had to argue at 7:30 in the morning. I suppose you could argue any time of the day. Police received conflicting reports. One man, who reportedly suffered a cut over his left eye and a knocked-out tooth, said his co-worker punched him in the face 4 times and 2 more times after he fell to the ground. According to the police report, he was treated at the scene. Police contacted the suspect, who had left the scene, by phone. He reportedly admitted to the fight, but said it was a mutual, Donnybrook. A 3rd employee riding in the truck told police the fight was mutual. According to the report, police continued to investigate. Well, all I can say is if one guy lost a tooth and he's got a cut eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other guy was just left the scene, I don't think it was really mutual. Somebody did not get the best end of that fight.
Yeah, but if you got 1 or 2 swings in, they figure, it's mutual. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Never mind. Yeah, let's move on to something else.
All right.
Throw me another one.
If the Earth is flat, where do all the lizard people stay? They're supposed to be in the center of the Earth.
Didn't you? See, you got me all confused. Didn't you ever study calculus?
Yes.
There's a center to everything.
But
Don't you remember that song that started out, "The Center Will Not Hold"? No, of course you don't. I'd say it's before your time, but I know it wasn't. No, there's a center to everything. There's a very complex mathematical way. You can figure the center to a dodecahedron if you want.
I realize if it's but flat, there's a center to it, but supposedly they're supposed to be inside the Earth. And if it ain't a ball, they can't be inside.
They're in the sub-basement.
Maybe the Earth has got some thickness, and they're just living 500 feet down.
Well, I never thought of it that way.
They could come up at night and get all the leftover pizza and donuts,
Is that where my stuff's been going?
Well, I had nothing to do with it.
No, my wife is constantly blaming the grandson, but he's not getting fat, so it can't be him. But now you tell me, well, now wait a minute, was that the lizard people? Or if you believe in aliens, was it the grays or the greens or the whites?
It was just the lizard people. The grays and the greens they can live above ground. They're up in Greenland and all those little ice things. That's why they're worried about Greenland melting in Antarctica. That's above ground. Once that ice melts, we'll find them all. There's cities. They have whole civilizations that we'll find. You watch.
Yeah.
Be aware.
You know what the problem is? I'll bet you the people with the money haven't figured out a way to make money off this yet. That's why they don't want the ice to melt.
That's right.
Yeah. They're you're right.
Think about it. Yep. If I can't make a buck, if they can figure out a way to make money on climate change, this world will change tomorrow.
Well, that's why I said we should try to convince people that Canada geese are really, really tasty. And you know what? All of a sudden, they won't be all over the place anymore.
Yeah. We should open a cooking channel.
John,
the Canadian cheese
can. We've got
that's a little limited.
We've
John.
got a little side business called the Roadkill Cafe.
Right.
And because we get out there while they're still fresh and warm, we don't even have to cook them. And usually they're pretty well skinned after a truck or a car hits them, so we're good.
I still rather cook them because that way you make sure you get all the little road gravel out of them. You have to dress them up properly, Dress them properly.
have
to have a balanced diet, and the gravel just supplies roughage.
Healthy minerals.
Oh, okay.
We usually put out some calcium chloride, because sodium chloride's too much salt and it'll be bad for you. But calcium chloride, you can get calcium, helps your bones and all that, and then you don't bruise like this, because you're. So I should practice what I preach. Okay.
There you go. Change your sodium chloride on your table to calcium chloride.
Yeah.
Please pass the. It's not sea salt, honey. It's road salt. Oh, good. Works better.
That's another thing I never quite understood. If sodium chloride is salt,
right,
then what's sea salt? Sodium chloride, but we'll call it sea salt and charge more. Well, then what's
a different process.
There's like 5 different salts right now, right? They get like table salt, then there's sea salt, then there's lowered sodium salt, and then there's this stuff will break your teeth salt. I don't get it.
Then there's Himalayan salt.
Right. The big blocks that they sell. I've seen them at Kroger. Yeah.
And those Himalayan salt is really made up of the Himalaya climbers who went up there and got freeze dried, and they just take what's left of salt and turn it into, kind of like Soylent Green.
Only Himalayan Soylent Green.
Himalayan Soylent Green.
And you just keep the big blocks around the house and lick them once in a while, like they do out in the woods?
Yeah.
I almost bought one as a joke one year. I thought it was funny.
A Himalayan?
Not Himalayan, one of those big salt blocks.
But
then I saw how much it cost, and it wasn't that funny. Or wasn't that money funny? Money funny, get over here.
Well, no, like they say, everything has a price. And sometimes, something you wanted. There's been a few things that John and I have discussed since we started pricing out, leasing a place to shoot this and that. And, just where do you get some of the things that we probably can't talk about?
Well, yeah, and then we figured out how to really get our wives worried. The house next to Art is for sale, and we could just scare our wives that, yeah, man, we're gonna buy the house next to Art's, but that it so far they get too scared, and it's more fun scaring them than doing anything else. But if you guys watch it on Magic TV Land,
All three of them?
all three of you guys, you can look it up and Google it, and you can move next to art, so you'll always have your fill of art takes.
Yeah. Move next to me. Move. What's wrong with you, John?
Only if they have chickens. Yep. Probably bring
Oh,
in
no,
chickens.
we already got a neighbor with chickens.
I know.
And the machines. You know what? They went through all this. There we go. We had to skip last week because this didn't work. Well, guess what? It ain't working again. And you know what else? I think it's just about time to...
Some cause happiness wherever they go. Others cause happiness whenever they go.
Yeah.
Truer words were never spoken.
And in another 15 minutes, I'll cause a lot of happiness when I leave.
Well, I've always... You know, our grandfather had a bar. And when he passed away, our dad got a lot of the stuff from inside the bar, the little knickknacks and things. And they had all these up north things all over the basement. And one of them was, all our customers make us happy. Some by arriving and some by leaving. And I always thought, it makes a lot of sense.
That's what I like was the world. Yes, the world owes you a living, but you have to work to collect it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And my son that went to me, and my son took it from my house and is now sitting it's in his garage. So people do understand.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so much for that. Now, this one kind of tickled me. All right. Now,
I don't want to picture that. Do you?
yeah, don't worry about it. Now, just think in mind, as a kind of an ex-boater, even though I've still got a little boat, they recommend that you carry these extremely loud air horn type things. I do not understand why more people don't carry them, simply because they're totally legal. And when you get tired of listening to somebody, you can just shove it in their face. This is what this guy should have done. I write X accused of trying to run over 3 people. Police were called to westbound blah, blah, blah at 1:30 a.m. on a report that a 27-year-old man, reportedly an ex-boyfriend of a resident, was driving his new Ford up and down the drive, honking his horn and yelling obscenities. Police stopped him to investigate the report. 3 people said they had seen this man driving past the home of the ex-girlfriend on several occasions, yelling, according to the police report. The witnesses told police that the man had tried to run them down with his car, forcing them to run to avoid being hit. He was arrested for felonious assault with a motor vehicle. Well, there's many things wrong with this. Number one, why are you yelling? You're going to make your throat sore. You carry the horn. You come up, or you call her on the phone. Just once, every so often. Well, they don't have payphones anymore, so millennials Google it. So you couldn't use a payphone. But there's things you could do. You ever think about just getting an inexpensive drone and just taking it and hovering it outside her bathroom window? You're not doing anything wrong, but it'll certainly make her neurotic. What do you think about that?
I like that. You can get some. There's the little drones out there, like $10-15 that you could just sit there and let it hum. No cameras, no nothing.
Exactly. So you're really not doing anything wrong. I mean, that's one of those cases where the law hasn't caught up to reality or technology or.
Technology, yep.
I don't know. I think
technology.
a lot of people haven't caught up to reality yet, too.
Yeah,
But
ignorance is a lifestyle choice. Ignorance is.
I've heard that.
Yeah, don't catch up to reality. Ignorance
Just
is
muster
bliss.
through.
Remember,
Anyway,
ignorance is bliss. Just be ignorant like me.
you got to go back to another thing about Google. I also found out that, whatever, anybody who graduated high school before 1998 did so without Google. Now everybody got to think about
oh my
that.
gosh!
Yep. And they wonder how come they say people, some older high school graduates have the, knowledge of a college graduate of today because, they actually had to go look stuff up. And you remember that way.
That's from that comic strip, Mallard Fillmore, about a duck, a very precocious, intelligent duck. And he made one strip out of that one Sunday. I kept it for years. I can't find it anymore. But he said, a college graduate of 1990, I guess, because I'm thinking back how long I've had that thing. I'm sorry, let me back that up. A college graduate, high school graduate, in 1965 had the equivalent education of a college graduate in 1990. So all this extra money we're paying the teachers, and there's a lot of good teachers out there, but now you have administrators that do what? Collect $250,000. And yet the education that the people are getting is not as good as it was before you came and got the job. So how are we moving forward? We're not. We're just slowly but surely slipping backwards, but paying somebody $250,000 every year to help us do it.
Yep.
Intelligent talk. That shut them up.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, got quiet.
Yep.
My brain was just like.
Yeah, intelligent talk. I try my best, but sometimes nothing happens. But oh well.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure all you Muppet fans will appreciate this. I think Zoot just skipped a groove.
Google it.
Oh, anyway.
One thing I hate about whenever you're talking to somebody, and a younger person, whatever, and I've had this happen with friends of my sons and whatever, you'll say something and people give you a very quizzical look. You'll see them walk away, get on their phone, and come back. Oh, you were right. Now, just because your phone says I'm right,
It's on the internet. It must be true.
It must be true. On the internet, it must be true.
Yeah, really.
According to the internet, I have these 3 diseases. According to the internet, I'm dead. You have a nice day.
Just worship the great God Google.
Yeah, and they're called Googleites. If their religion is worshiping God Google, because it's Googleites. There's Israelites and there's Googleites.
Well, see, now
Luddites, what happened to the Luddites? Is that the proper term?
Yeah, the Luddites.
The people who are against technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure that they were wrong. But see, I always figured Google lights were like lights in your glasses.
Lights in your Google glasses, or else if you got a Google phone now, you could have Google lights on the back of it. I don't know that I want to have a Google phone. They just know too much about you.
They all know too much about you, John.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching.
Well, that's
You cannot be hidden anymore.
That's why you want to have as many multiple personalities as you can. Because
I thought multiple identities would be better.
maybe that's what the guy meant, and I chose multiple personalities.
There's the rub.
You just wanted to relate, John. That's all.
Now we know what's going on.
Yeah, I thought they meant multiple personalities.
Not identities. See, yeah, well.
Wait a minute. If you've got multiple personalities, I know a few people I'd like you to give one to.
Oh, okay. Well, geez, I can nurture these. It's like, you give a dog, a sheltered dog. They find these wild dogs and they mentor him to be a regular domesticated dog, and then they give him a home. I could raise these personalities and get them socially acceptable, and then I could trade them off to somebody who doesn't have a personality. Maybe I could have a business
There
like
you
that.
go. There you go. I bet you get a GoFundMe for that one.
Ooh. And after I get $500,000, one of my multiple personalities will take me to a beach somewhere.
To the Bahamas, yeah. I'm sorry, but George is in the Bahamas this week.
Something else I've got to mention. Recently I was in a chain type store, and we won't say what kind, and I was having a lot of trouble with the helper. I love helper. I hate people do that. But they're very surly, and certainly not friendly or civil. Finally I said, what is wrong with you that you can't be polite and civil? And I was told, that's not company policy.